Snub Nose Show. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this little later. You know what I'm saying? I ain't do it on my regular time. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give shouts out to my man, King, Arthur Davis, my man, Rob Davis in Baltimore. His mom passed. You know what I'm saying? What up, Steve? How's your day going, man? What up?
Pretty good, man.
How things, man? You know, how things?
Ah, man.
You know what?
Same old.
I love my audience. You know, if I ain't on time, you know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that. But you know what? You know, I had my man, you know what I'm saying, Fred the Viral Flow, you know what I'm saying, Fred the Fiddler. But you know what? We got an intro song, and he's playing the fiddle. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a violin.
They were laughing at this video. I like this video, Steve. I like this video. You like this video?
It was unique.
It was abstract, is the word you want to use. Mm-hmm. But you know what? We got the LEP Bogus Boys going in for the kill with Fred the Fiddler on the violins. Here we go. We got a good show for you today. Snub Nose. Welcome, my audience. Welcome. Welcome. Niggas don't appreciate live music. I do. In fact, baby, it's me. Woo! We got a show for you lined up today. Man, thanks to my audience for tuning in. The views are extraordinary. I love it. I fucking love it. I'm not sexy to my hoes. I'm not sexy. I'm sexy to everybody. Everybody go get that gas. This how we get it started.
Okay.
I'm going in for the kill with my heat blazing. For the thrill, just to feel my heartbeat brace. Fuck a trial, I'm worried about the jail.
Freddie Flow, you second to none on that fiddle.
Secrets to the grave with me like a Freemason. I got his fancy taste. I like the best of things. That's why I'm always flying in a bird with an extra wing. Don't shop at strip malls. I'm overseas.
Shot-town, man, you know, on the Snub Nose, we do it different. You know what I'm saying? We got intro songs. We got extra songs. We got gas, man. You know what I'm saying? We got all that shit. And they just tune in. You know what I'm saying? I might have a guest every now and then. Ooh, I do a lot of gas for myself. You want to get some regular unleaded today? Regular unleaded, courtesy of the Snub Nose. Oh, man. It makes me so proud to be back in here, Steve. Oh, man, it makes me so proud to be back in here, you know what I'm saying? I seen a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? 4th of July. You know what I'm saying?
How was your 4th?
Woo! You know what I'm saying? I popped the block up, you know what I'm saying? And I did it. And I've been doing it for like the last 25 years. And, and them fireworks cost money. Like one box costs like $350, you know what I'm saying? You get like, you lucky you get like 50 shots out of that motherfucker. And, and one time, you know what I'm saying, I was like 27. And I had done this since I was like 17, you know what I'm saying? Because, I'm always a ball. I always had bread and shit. So I do it for the kids. And one time, you know what I'm saying, I slipped on the banana peel. You know what I mean? I slipped on the banana peel. And then I ain't had, you know what I'm saying? I only had like $500-$600. And the motherfuckers, Steve, the motherfuckers that popped fireworks with me, they booed me. I got booed.
Slipping on a banana peel.
You know, and nobody put in no money, but they still booed me for the fireworks. You know what? And you know what? And I was like, never again. This is never gonna happen. I don't give a fuck if I'm on my last. I'm gonna make sure that all those kids in the Chatham area are gonna have fireworks on the 4th of July to pop off. You know what I'm saying? I got a standing ovation this year. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
And then, and it's hard to like pop them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes niggas don't know what they doing. And sometimes the week be short. You gotta have a good lighter. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it be rainy or windy outside.
You need a torch.
You be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? My nigga Hot Rod, boy. My nigga Hot Rod. Shouts out to you, Hot Rod. You know what I'm saying? He had been losing his eyesight. And he
Y'all let him pop fireworks?
He loved popping fireworks and shit like that. He was one of the people who got me started popping fireworks. You know what I'm saying? So I don't say nothing about him popping fireworks. You know what I'm saying? I don't say, Hot Rod's a baller. You know what I'm saying? That nigga, he had a CD player in his car before I even know what a CD player was. You know what I'm saying? He did all that. He put me on everything. Hit the button, Steve. How you gonna tell one of that's my oldest living friend. So how you gonna tell one of your mentors, like, you know what? You can't pop fireworks because your eyesight is getting bad. Now, he had a BMW. You know what I'm saying? The cops told him, they was like, you know what? You're gonna stop driving this motherfucking car, okay, man? We're gonna give you a chance. This nigga was still driving and shit, you know what I'm saying? All right, give me the car. You know what I'm saying? Give me this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? He's like, man, Snub, they took my BMW. I'm like, nigga, you... And then we're like, all right, I'm out there with Karen and everybody, and we lighting cannons. These half a sticks of dynamite. So I gave him, you know what I'm saying? He even though he can't see well, he still got an iPhone. But
so many jokes.
But he put the thing in the cannon upside down, and I noticed it. And I was like, oh shit, it's upside down. Everybody run. So everybody, my brother outside, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, I had to jump in a garbage can that was like full of old barbecue, you know? Everybody jumping over the gate. And my brother's chick that he was with had on sandals. And one of the sparks hit her sandal and her foot caught on fire. He blamed me for that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody blamed me for that. They were like, Hot Rod should have never had a lighter.
Don't sound like a good time, Snub.
Oh, it was great after that. When they took his lighter away, it was like taking his gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna take my lighter? I was like, man. That's like when the cop get fired, man, turning your badge and your gun, you know? You know what I'm saying? What you doing in the street saying, lasting no more, you know what I'm saying? But shouts out to the 4th of July, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not getting no younger, you know what I'm saying? I just made 48, you know what I'm saying, in May, you know what I mean? And Steve, you know what I'm saying? I want all these niggas that think that they not getting old to know they getting old, you know what I'm saying? Now, when you approaching, the 50-yard line. You know what I'm saying? You're on the 50-yard line. And it's 4th and 3. And you got a bitch with you. And you're in the bed with her. What play you gonna call? You know what I'm saying? You almost 50. You know what I'm saying? You gonna throw a scream. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna run up the middle? Are you gonna go deep? You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to make him jump off sides. I need a new set of downs. We gotta start fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Starting fresh sound tiring. We talking about sex. Talking about sex.
Well, it is tiring. You know what I'm saying? But dude, your woman gotta really like you or love you if you're over 46 years old. Because you're not doing the same thing you was doing when you was like, you know what I'm saying, 29. Remember you hit it from the back and reach around, you know what I'm saying? My reach around, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I had this bitch and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And that bitch was fine as hell. You know what I'm saying? She had a big ass. She was super fine. I love, you know what I'm saying, pretty petite bitches. She ain't had no titties, you know what I'm saying? She made me work for her, you know what I'm saying? She was flat as a board, but she was hard to nail. You know, but it's a butt Steve. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't make me work for it, you know what I'm saying? And you know what? And then another thing, and then she was like, man, I want the hammer, you know what I'm saying? I can't give you the hammer, you know what I'm saying? I can give you the Phillips head. I can give you the screwdriver. The hammer, you know what I'm saying? The only thing I use on the hammer now is the shit that you use to get the nails out the wood. You know what I'm saying? Use the back of the hammer and shit.
Hammer claw.
I just use the hammer claw. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I be trying to show out, you know what I'm saying? Especially for my dog, Because, even though that, we don't be around, you know what I'm saying? He see how I smash, you know what I'm saying, how I don't smash. You know what I'm saying? And we don't be like, man, your dog will let you know when you done a bad job. You know what I'm saying? Just like when your dog done a bad job. You know what I'm saying? When your dog done a bad job, he don't get no treat. He won't even come back in the crib. He be like, man, you know what? I'm staying out here. When a dog do a good job, you know what I'm saying? He's allowed in the house and he's gonna get a treat. You know what I'm saying? And let a dog do a good job. And you ain't got a treat for him? People like, fuck you, motherfuckers. And that's a male dog, you know what I'm saying? Let you get a bitch. A female dog, you know what I'm saying? They don't even want no treat. You gotta pay a female dog in like money, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know what they do with their money, you know what I'm saying? What do a dog, they go to the doggy club, you know what I'm saying? Where there's other bitches and shit, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want no treat, you know what I'm saying? But if you give me this money, I won't jump on the furniture. You know what I'm saying? I want to eat out the garbage. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay a bitch. You know what I'm saying? To act right. You know what I mean? And I always ask a woman, you know what I'm saying? Women, I always try to avoid the question. What's your price of submission? No, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I would like if a nigga make $42,000 a year. Are you gonna submit to him and fuck with him? Well, he fucking with me. I'm gonna motivate him, and he's gonna make more than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no. If your nigga gonna make $42,000 for the rest of his life, would you still choose that nigga? Would you? You know what I'm saying? Because when man choose y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all come in with nothing. And y'all leave with everything. You know what I'm saying? It's all on the nigga. And I don't understand why sex is so partial. I'm talking about like, you know what? A woman be like, you know what? If I give you the pussy, I'm entitled to something. Ain't you getting the dick too? Ain't you getting something out the deal? You know what I'm saying? We both get something out the deal. You know what I'm saying? All right. You know what I'm saying? If you a man, you a woman, you laying in bed having sex. You know what I'm saying? Y'all both gonna do what y'all gonna do. But the woman make her pussy feel way more valuable than a dick. You know what I'm saying? And she like, you know what? My pussy's so valuable that you gotta make $100,000 a motherfucking year. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you make $42,000 a year, you know what I'm saying? You might get this pussy every now and then. When my $100,000 nigga don't call me, you know what I'm saying? I show up to your crib. You know what I'm saying? And give you this back burner pussy. You know what I'm saying? You ever cook something on the back burner, Steve? You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing you put on the stove. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even that big.
You gotta light that shit with one of them barbecue lighters and shit. The gas don't even work with that motherfucker. And y'all want credit for that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, that's what you put the gravy on. The back burner bitches get the gravy. Go ahead, Steve. You said something.
Slow cooker.
Well, a slow cooker, that's like the old man shit. You know what I'm saying? That's when you make some pot roast. And you put it in the slow cooker. And you go to work and you come back and it's tender and it's juicy. And you been going all day? That's because you didn't fuck somebody else. He tenderized your meat. Well, the bitch's pussy. And you come back and you like, man, fuck it. You know what I mean? You know, I'm going back. I'm going back to like, you know what I'm saying? Featherboard, hard to nail. You know what I'm saying? Don't make me work for it. You know what I'm saying? I go to Lowe's. I get a contractor. You know what I'm saying? I go to Home Depot. Shit. Hey, Diddy, where's the Punisher? I need some help with this motherfucker. I'll watch. I wouldn't even watch. I'd be like, did you take care of her? You know what I'm saying? Here's your money, Mr. Punisher. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If a nigga fuck one of my hoes, I'm always gonna call him Mister. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Mr. Trey. You know, anybody, you know what I'm saying? All the niggas that get out of the pussy, they got first names and shit. Like, Mr. Dion, Mr. Trey. You know what I'm saying? And then the niggas that fuck all the hoes, you know what I'm saying? They got a name like Anthony, you know what I'm saying? First and last name. Fuck all the hoes, you know.
First name.
And speaking of bitches, you know what I'm saying? So Meg Thee Stallion is fucking with Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? You know, and Klay was dope until he hurt his Achilles and shit like that. Nah, you know what I mean? You can't fucking both. You can't fucking both things. You fucking with a bitch that been shut up now, you know what I'm saying? Come on, Klay. Man, your brother played for the White Sox, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not saying that Meg Thee Stallion is a piece of trash, but if you jump on the car naked and get shot in the foot, and the nigga that shot you was still in jail, you know what I'm saying? You're the pride of your community. It's a bunch of things. And then it came, and Gary Coleman had been dead for some years. He was a little motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but he was strong. They say he was mean. You know what I'm saying? I remember on Different Strokes. So Gary Coleman and shit, his wife was like, you know what? Everybody blamed me for his death because he had blunt force trauma because he fell down the stairs. So she was like, you know what, I'm going to clear this up. So she went to the most decorated lie detector dude there is. He asked her these questions. Did you hurt Gary? Did you intentionally throw him down the stairs? Did you kill him? And a lie detector is not admissible in court. You know what? She failed on all three. You know what I'm saying? Why would you hurt that little? Little motherfuckers, short motherfuckers are mean. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a midget. He was like, like Webster. You ever seen the movie Webster, the show? He had like the Webster disease. You know what I'm saying? You get to a certain age and you just stop growing. You know what I'm saying? I want to say thanks for having me, Steve, man. And I'm gonna be here.
Wait. I want to ask you about the Gary Coleman shit. Is the girl going to jail?
No, that's inadmissible in court. She just failed the lie detector
So why
test.
she take it?
Why would you push that little motherfucker there? Because he was mean. You know what I'm saying? I could imagine how Gary Coleman talked to, you know what I'm saying, talk to that bitch and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
She white or black?
She was white. She was white.
Yeah, she ain't going to jail.
You know what I'm saying? You know what? Stats and facts.
What's that?
Snakes don't have a brain. Stats and facts. That's why you can't tame a snake. You know what I'm saying? I know some nigga snakes. You know what I'm saying? I know some bitches snakes. You know what I'm saying? You can't tame a snake. You know what I mean? So when you try to tell a snake what to do, you know what I'm saying? You just can't do it. You know what I mean? That's a motherfucker with no motherfucking brain. That's gonna slither and fuck you up. And everybody got a snake in their group. And you know what, Steve? Niggas know who the snake is.
Have you ever been a snake in life? I think everybody is all of the animals. Like I think it's 5 major animals. You got the lion, the bear, the snake, the this. I think everybody's been one of them in their life at some point.
Well, everybody's been an animal. They say when you get reincarnated, you want to come back as an animal. If you get reincarnated, Steve, what animal would you want to be?
I don't know, but I want to be a predator, and I want to be
a predator.
Yeah.
That's a bad word. A predator
as an animal. Oh yeah, that did sound crazy.
Woo! You know what I'm saying?
I want to be at the top of the food chain.
You ever see the show How to Catch a Predator? And they fall for it all the time. So it be a motherfucker. It be the cops. You know what I'm saying? He called him. He was like, you know what? I'm a 13-year-old innocent white girl, and I want you to meet me at Walmart or McDonald's. So, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, that's what I'm on. But it's really the cops. And the dude go in there, and they got the video. Hold on, shout out to Keela.
I think we all seen To Catch a Predator.
And then they go in there, and they beat the shit out the nigga. And the predator always try to run. They be like, no, I don't want nobody to know that I try to fuck little girls. No, little dudes. A predator don't give a fuck who we fuck, whether it's girls or dudes. That's a shame, man.
That's a predator. That is definitely a predator. Lock him up. Get him off the street.
I thought, that's when they made the Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because he killed everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got to be armed not to be a predator. Now, I'm not a predator no more. I've never been one. But if I did, it's woman over 20. You know what I'm saying? At least you got to be over 20. You know what I'm saying? But 20-year-old bitches ain't fucking with me like that. You know what I'm saying? Them bitches be like 26. You know what I'm saying? And the bitches that I fuck with that are 40, you know what I'm saying? They was like, man, ain't nothing worse than a bitch that still thinks she got it. You know what I'm saying? I was the prom queen. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, when you 18 and now that you're 40, things have changed. You know what I'm saying? You a husky tiger now. You got stripes. You know what I'm saying? Your stripes are probably your stretch marks. You know what I'm saying? It's probably the one that's next to your C-section from your third baby. You know what I'm saying? And then you gonna want me to suck on them titties, you know what I'm saying? They're hanging low. You know what I'm saying? Young bitches titties sick. You know what I'm saying? When you get older, them motherfuckers hang. Some of them might be fat. It depends on how many kids you got. You know what I'm saying? If you got like 4 or 5 kids, they just suck the life out of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And don't fuck around and get a tattoo. You know what I'm saying? When you like 19 and you get some cherries, you know what I'm saying, on your thigh. You know what I'm saying? Then when you turn 40, it's like a bunch of balloons. You might as well fly away. You know that bitch, you know what I'm saying? And the niggas be trying it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go in on them niggas as well. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be fat and shit. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still a hunk. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a motherfucking hunk. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers don't look like me. A lot of motherfuckers don't got this much gracious. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers don't got this much charisma. You know what I'm saying? You got an old broke ass nigga, you know what I'm saying, that had money back in the day, and he's still trying to talk to fine assholes. You know what I'm saying? And when the fine asshole talk to him, he can't even, his car get declined. Women, answer me this. Have you been with a nigga and his car got declined? Do you still fuck with a motherfucker and his car get declined? He was like, you know what, there was an accident. My car got declined. And the bill like $19. You know what I mean? And you picked him up. Stats and facts. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't get no younger. You know what I'm saying? But our age lasts longer than women. A prime example of that, Morgan Freeman. He was probably born with moles. He was born old. When Morgan Freeman did Lean on Me, he was 52 years old. And Lean on Me came out a long time ago. It came out a long time ago. Driving Miss Daisy. I wonder how old he was in Glory, and Morgan Freeman, you know what I'm saying? That's an old motherfucker that does his role. You know what I'm saying? Old motherfuckers that don't know their role is like Samuel L. Jackson and, you know what I'm saying, Denzel Washington. You know what I'm saying? They're like 60, 70. They still trying to do karate. Morgan Freeman just get whipped. You don't never see Morgan Freeman in the fist fight. You know what I'm saying? If Morgan Freeman's ever in the fist fight, he just slapped somebody. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. You know what I'm saying? Morgan Freeman just slapped somebody. Morgan Freeman's always plays like the slave ass nigga. You know, how the fuck you 52 years old and Lean on Me? You know? Samuel L. Jackson and they still try to do karate. You know what I'm saying? When you a certain age, man, and you black, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes us karate, you can't do karate no more. You know what I'm saying? That's, and I be thinking I got it rough. And my boy Rob, your mom, rest in peace, you know what I'm saying? We was in Brazil, you know what I'm saying? And I was happy to be in Brazil, and I thought I had it rough, you know what I'm saying? My dad had died, my grandma had died, and I'm talking to them Brazil-ass motherfuckers and shit like that. I'm like, man, I got it rough as hell. And this nigga was like, well, you know what, I just ate a monkey for dinner. I'm like, okay. I guess I ain't getting that rough, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, where's the next plane, you know what I'm saying? Where's the next plane? It makes, one thing that I do like, Steve, I don't give a, I know people care about my content, I try to talk about, everybody.
Who inspires you? Where you get your inspiration from? Who you be watching? Who you, where you?
Myself, man. Real talk. I get my inspiration from myself. I was always good at like talking about people and rapping and things like that. I don't know where it comes from. But one thing that I do appreciate, you know what I'm saying, is the listeners that follow me, and and I was talking to my man Willie P. Peps, you know what I'm saying? He's in town.
Shout out.
And you know what I'm saying? Shouts out Willie P. And he was like, man, what the fuck, do you come up with your shit from? And I'm like, I don't know. But one thing that there's two things that I'm scared of. This being broken born. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a boring ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? But the older you get, the more boring you get. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was go out at like midnight, Steve. You know what I'm saying? You come in at 3 in the morning, go to work. Nigga, your bedtime change. You know what I'm saying? You can't do all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got kids. And I don't even got no kids, but I'm still gonna lay it down. You know what I'm saying? The football season coming up. Woo! Shouts out to the Bears. What you think we'll do this year, Steve?
Same they did last year.
What, lose 10 games in a row?
Yeah. Well, they're going to be the same record.
We going to the playoffs?
No.
But I think that it took too long to fire that coach. It took too long. I mean, how many games you gonna lose in a row before you fire a nigga? You know what I'm saying? That's a question I want to ask these women. You know what I'm saying? How many games you gonna lose in a row before you fire your nigga? You know what I'm saying? The Bears lost 10 games in a row. If you fucking with a nigga, and then he a no call or no show 3 times out of 9. Do you get fired? If you a no call, no show at your job, at one time you get fired. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm a no call, no show, and I'm fucking with a woman, and she take me back, that means I know she's gonna put up with me. You know what I'm saying? Women don't put up with these no call, no show ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? Let these niggas go. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I already gave him the pussy, and I don't wanna, you know what I'm saying, start off fresh and give a new nigga the pussy. You know what I'm saying? Would you rather be disrespected and whatever? You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, if a nigga really fuck with you, and he had no call, no show, he like you, that mean he ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? He like, man, I want to fuck with this bitch, but I ain't got no money. And Nick, it's so, a woman think like, a nigga can do this. It's so disrespectful for a nigga to ask one of his buddies to borrow money to take a bitch out. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas be like, fuck that bitch. You know what I'm saying? How would if a woman asks, if a woman asks one of her girls, Letitia, can I borrow some money to take Sylvester out? Letitia gonna look at you like, you crazy as hell. She like, I ain't got no money. I spent it all on Javon's. I gotta take him out tonight. The Snub No Show. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what? We just get into it. And then, you know what? And one be like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? He should fuck with me. He's gonna fuck with me. I tell you what you do. You take a shower. You get naked. And women always want niggas with muscles and money and shit. They want them M&Ms. But you a peanut M&M, you fat piece of shit, bitch. If you look in the mirror and you be like, you know what? Fuck me. You know what I'm saying? There you go. But if you look in the mirror, you take all your clothes off, and you be like, I got a lot of work to do. What do you think the nigga sees? He sees you, you know what I'm saying? You can put all them Spanx and shit on. You can do all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? No, I'm not one of them. The light stays on. I want to see everything. I want to know what's going on in here, especially if it's not at my house. You know what I'm saying? I want to know. If I don't get the home court advantage, I got to see what's going on in, in the other house. You know what I'm saying? If that nigga had in the closet, what you been doing? You know what I'm saying? And a woman always, you know what I'm saying? You can check their refrigerator. You check their garbage. A woman always got garbage in their house. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A woman don't like take out garbage. She thinks she's so Gucci that she gonna find somebody. You know what? You can tell a fine woman her garbage is gone. Somebody came, or her father. The ugly woman, their father took it out. You know what I'm saying? Their brother, their nephew. You know what I'm saying? Women can't stand going to the alley taking out their own garbage. Some women take their own stuff out. Put yourself in there. But some niggas. And women will put up with a filthy nigga's house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just to have a nigga. They go to the nigga's crib and this shit's filthy. It's dishes in the sink. You know what I'm saying? You open the refrigerator, you know what I'm saying? Flies and gnats flying everywhere and shit like that. And them niggas got the nerve to have pets and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got a cat, I got a dog, the dog be swatting flies. When you go to a nigga crib like that, you still fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. But you know what I'm saying? That's your boy. You know what I'm saying? You put your boy up and like, you know what? Trinidad, your house is nasty. And he expect you to go in there and wash his dishes and clean his refrigerator. But a woman only gonna do that when she's your main woman. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A lot of women, or you spending money on her. Woman used to come in there, and just clean off the strength. She coming in to fuck before you take her out. She not coming in and clean up the house. You know what I'm saying? Because if she gotta wash your dishes, you have to get her nails up. She ain't fuck her nails up. And you know what I'm saying? The bitches that do that, she probably got rhinestones and shit on her. Hey, Steve, do people still got rhinestones on their nails?
I think so.
But women love a clean house. You know what I'm saying? I try to keep my house clean. It's coming in there, you know what I'm saying, at least once every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard for niggas, especially after a football game. And then they be like Italian beefs and shit, leftover shit. And the woman come in the crib and she said, man, what are you doing in here? Like living, motherfucker. I'm living, L-I-V-I-N. I'm living. I want to give shouts out to all those women that put up with them bullshit ass niggas and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas that send you off. Them niggas that ask you for gas. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas that you gotta bail out of jail. You know, because when you need a nigga, is he there for you? That's how you know a nigga really fuck with you. When you be like, you know what, man, my son gotta go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Can you give us a ride? And you be like, where's baby daddy? Where's baby daddy at? You know, hit the button, Steve. You know, the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even on my insurance. You know, I'm not buying that with a coupon. The fuck out of here. I just came in and talked to my audience. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. You got something to say, Steve?
No, man, you didn't. I was gonna say you answered my question on who influenced you, but I was gonna say who besides yourself has influenced you to do.
Oh man, just really myself, man. Just like
You said who besides yourself? Outside yourself, who do you credit with shaping the way you pod or do your podcast? Or
but you know, Steve, I don't really listen to pods. You know, I'm surprised to even have my own show. But if I listen to anything, but the thing is, when I do my show, when I do the Snub Nose, you're like very seldom. Like I had 4 different guests here. You know, I do it myself. So you know, I had my sister on here. I had Freddie Flo, I had Stat, and of course the lovely Karen. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna have to.
Who's someone that's alive that has whose mindset or style has left a mark on, you know, the way you think or you yourself?
Oh man, I like the way shit, that's a tough one. Because everybody got like a team. Not do it alone. You know, I like Jerry Seinfeld, Rodney Dangerfield, Sam Kinison, and they're all white, you know, Dave Chappelle do the Chappelle Show. You know, I like the way he does that, but you know, I write my own things. I do my own things, Steve.
I would think
you know what I'm saying?
I would think they do too. Everybody you name, I think they write their own shit too.
Well, they be like, you know what? You know, I had this person go here and here. We did this, we did that. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I do it every week. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you look at the shows that I do them every week. So, you know, and people are like, man, how do you do that?
So who has the most impact on your approach to life?
My brother's a funny guy. My brother's a funny fucking guy. Shout out to Two Legends. Woo! He's a funny guy. He's got a lot of jokes. And my nigga that was talking about earlier, Hot Rod, you know, they got a lot of funny jokes. I'm not here to joke or, you know, I come on here because I love just saying how I feel. And some people might be offended and some people might, but that's just the life of the snub. That's just going through the eyes of me. And that's what I like doing and shit like that. So, you know, I come here, Steve, and I like doing that, you know. And one thing that means a lot to me, I love having my own show. I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you put me on to that, you know, and when I was on a few shows and I went out in the streets, they were like, man, this nigga, you need your own show. And I be seeing motherfuckers out, they be looking at me, they're like, Snub. You know, I like notoriety too, as well. I do like that, I can't lie about it. You know what I'm saying? I like motherfuckers asking like to be on the show, you know. And you know, I just appreciate it. And I appreciate the fans. You know, I just appreciate everything, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, most of all, I appreciate my motherfucking self. But that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you long because it's gonna be a short week, and I'm gonna do something for you real fast this week. I got a special something coming on for you this week. Watch it. This is Snub Nose. I got a good exit song for you with Fred the Fiddler. You know what I'm saying? Playing over one of the count songs from LEP Bogus Boys. I hope you enjoy this show, and I do the best that I can to make my audience appeased. Woo! 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 Shouts out to you, King Arthur Davis. My square, you know what I'm saying? Woo! I get in and out, man. You know what I'm saying? So start to count. Love you, baby. That violin is all live.
Yeah, you wanna be the stick up, man? Gotta be an animal. It's rules to this shit. I wrote me a manual.
Well,
Step by step booklets you need to get.
I try to make my material abstract. First of all.
A smart nigga always do it.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Underneath him, see the type of shit he on first. Check his resume, see who.
Well, that's what's up, though.
With him. Is he a goon or a smooth getting money nigga? Step number 2, find out what he working with. He can't feel a
Shot-town. And I play Shot-town music on this song.
You can
Fuck out of here. You get in the shower when you fuck with Snub, though.
Use number 3 to touch up on a few things. Before you take him down, you gotta pick up on his routine. Get on him the minute he walk up out that front door.
You always make it so hospitable for me, Steve.
Before I get the number,
It's my job.
stay at least 3 to 4 cars behind. In due time, you
Yeah,
can find out
yeah.
where the bitch live.
I'll have some gas on, but you know what I'm saying? It was a day for the gas for the Snub.
Now you got it all
Had to get some things off my chest.
with them home invasions in their background. Just on the stand, you gotta go with a crew. They get off in the
Shout out to Kendrick.
already know what to do.
Shout out to Randy.
Number 6, showtime before
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother, my sister.
Boy to the birds to go pill and will.
Shout out to Coco Karen.
Stuff them shells in the clip. Test them choppers.
Shout out to Fred the Fiddler.
Make sure all them bitches spit. Step 7.
Shout out to you, Black.
Waiting to see the nigga.
What up, Stat? I'll see you in a minute.
Never know, it might be a minute. That's
I like Stat. Stat gotta come back on here.
and the amateurs. They get antsy playing the waiting game and abandon.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're not entertained. Oh, we Gucci with this bitch.